Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Annalisa, and this is going to be me recommending books by Black authors with Black characters or subject matter. And the characters or subject matter in the case of nonfiction are on the LGBTQIAP+ spectrum. I've got some little papers here, and I have four categories. So romance, sci-fi fantasy, nonfiction, and contemporary. And I will put time codes below so that you can skip between genres if you would like to. Oh, it's Juneteenth, by the way. I'll link some information if you don't know much about Juneteenth. So here are my recommendations. I have read all of these and given them at least 3 stars. The vast majority are between 4 and 5 stars. In fact, I think there's only one of these that was only 3 stars. I'll let you know which one it was. Let's start with romance. The Fall That Saved Us by Tamara, Jerée. I love this one. This one has a lot of dark aspects to it. The main characters have been through a fair amount of trauma. It is also paranormal because one of our main characters is like part angel or trained by angels. The other one is a demon. And this is 2 women falling in love despite their being from sort of opposing teams. More so, a difficulty even than that is the trauma that the angel character has been through that makes it very difficult to open up to anyone. Relatively slow burn. Outdrawn by Deanna Gray. I have also really loved a few other books by Deanna Gray, so I really recommend this author. This one is about 2 women who are both working as digital artists for, I think, a comic company. They do superheroes, I believe, and they are somewhat rivals, but also are on the same team. So they work together while still feeling like they need to outdo each other in some senses. But pretty soon they figure out that they like each other and start being really adorable together. Also, I really love the talk about art and burnout and, to an extent, chronic illness as well, because of the injury you get to your arms and hands when you do repetitive motions too much. That becomes involved. And I really love stories and I really love art, so I really like seeing those in this story, as well as the characters just being really cute and sweet. Sweet Surrender by Viano Oniomoh. This one is more on the side of erotica. There are a fair few extended sex scenes for the amount of page time we have. I believe it's a novella. And this one is also about overcoming trauma and also kind of a bodyguard romance, because, as well as a monster romance, because one of our main characters forms a contract with the other character, who is a demon, to be his sort of bodyguard for a while because someone is stalking him. They fall in love, and it's really sweet. This one is a man and a non-binary demon, and it's also about finding queer community. I've read one other book by this author and want to read more because Oniomoh is Nigerian, and the books are set in Nigeria, and a few more of them are queer as well, and indie published. Actually, all the ones I've talked about so far are indie published, as is the next one. Keep Me Close by R.M. Virtues. This one is a trans woman main character and a cis man main character, one of whom is a trapeze artist, or maybe the aerial silks, and she meets Hades. A lot of the names and relationships are based on Greek mythology. Her name's Persephone, and she meets Hades while working in one of his clubs, as he is a owner of various clubs and bars, and I think a casino, and they start being attracted to each other right away. And this one is also more on the erotica side, as is the next one in the series, Keep Me Close. Sorry, I meant to say the one I was just talking about was Drag Me Up. The next one is called Keep Me Close, which is also about a trans woman and, I believe, a cis man falling in love, and more continuing the story of all of these gods who I don't think have superpowers, but they are all sort of leaders of this city, and I really enjoyed both of them. Fallen to You is another indie published one by Georgina Kiersten. This one I found out about from following the author on TikTok. It's a short story about, I think, two women who used to know each other, one of whom still lives in a small town she was born in, and one of them comes back to that small town. They reunite and form a relationship, and it's set in fall and has several fall-themed events and stuff going on. Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute. This one's trad published. It's by Talia Hibbert, one of my favorite authors. Teenage girl and a teenage boy. One of them is bi. I don't remember which one. This also has neurodivergent rep. And again, I don't remember which character. It is about two teenagers who used to be friends, have become enemies. Mostly the enemy part is one-sided because she's angry about something that he did, but they get forced into proximity because they are both going after scholarships, and that involves going on this trip together where they're supposed to learn outdoor survival skills. Mirror Monster on My Wall. It's by Tam M. Nicnevin, and this is about an autistic main character who has sort of monsters that are sort of in a mirror world that I believe she talks to when she's asleep. And this one's back to more erotica. Most, I believe, of her monster friends are non-binary. A few of them use neo-pronouns, and she has a polyamorous relationship with all of them. And this is a pretty short one. The Romantic Agenda by Kann. This one is about a allo-romantic, asexual woman who is in love with her best friend and goes on a trip with him and I think two other people, trying to get him to break up with the person he's currently with and be interested in her instead, and things go awry from there. But there is a romantic relationship that happens. Kann writes a fair amount of asexual romances. That one is traditionally published, and Mechanics of Love by Meka James is indie published, and it is about a woman whose car breaks down near a small town. I think her dad also lives in this town, and she's coming to it to take care of him. The woman who fixes her car ends up being attracted to her, and they have a relationship. This one talks quite a bit about taking care of a parent who is ill, and I really liked that aspect of it, as well as the very sweet romance. All of these, except the monster ones, and possibly the Romantic Agenda, are black romance, so they are two black people as opposed to an interracial romance. I don't actually remember much about the love interest from the Romantic Agenda. Now we're going over to sci-fi and fantasy. So first, The Good Luck Girls. I really like this duology. It has magic and sci-fi kind of at the same time, and it has major Old West vibes, despite being in kind of a whole other world. There's stagecoaches and ghosts, and our main perspective character is bisexual. Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. This one's sci-fi, and it's set in a relatively near future. I guess it also has fantasy elements because there's this magical, I think, creature called, I think, an angel who comes out of the main character's mother's painting. The main character is a trans girl. It's about this angel saying that despite the whole community saying that all the monsters are gone and that we don't have to worry about monsters anymore, the angel says that there is a monster in town and they've been sent to hunt down this monster. And so our main character tries to help find out who the monster is and help the angel with their mission. This Poison Heart by Kalynn Bayron. I really, really love this duology as well. It's got plant magic. It's got women falling in love with each other. The main character also has 2 moms, and I really love her relationship with her parents. They're really sweet and make a lot of sense to me as someone who's pretty close with my own mom. I also like the romance and the creepy stuff happening, and the creepy old house. There's a mansion they move into that's like magical and got secret doorways and a library, and it's very cool. Deep in Providence is the only one in this section that is indie published. It's by Rhys M. Neilson, and this one is about a team of Black teenage girls who are practicing magic. I'm not sure what kind of magic it is, if it's witchcraft or if it has another name, but part of it is trying to bring people back from the dead. There might be multiple perspectives, but one of the main characters is in love with another girl. I read this one quite a while ago, so I'm having a hard time remembering it. An Unkindness of Ghosts by River Solomon. This one is very dark because it is kind of what if there was chattel slavery in space and all the horrors that come along with that. If I remember correctly, our main character is bi. She's also autistic, and there's also a trans side character. I think it explores the topic really well, and it's very interesting. It is just really, really dark. The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. This has 5 main characters for the 5 boroughs of New York, and it, I would say, is mostly fantasy as opposed to sci-fi, and several of our prospective characters are queer. This is also a duology, and I like the second book quite a bit. I think I like the first book more, but I think that the second book still gave a good conclusion, and I really, really enjoyed 4 of the perspective characters. You're not really supposed to enjoy the 5th, so that's okay. Oh, I guess 5, because there's an extra one who kind of represents the entire New York, so there's 6 main characters. And the magic is fun, even if the higher concept of cities being sentient is kind of weird and hard to wrap my head around. The actual manifestations of the magic were a lot of fun to read about. Rust in the Root by Justina Ireland. Right there. Another one I really enjoyed. The main character is bi, if I remember correctly, and it is about magic. First of all, our main character has sort of plant magic, so she carries seeds around, and then when she throws them at her enemies, she can make them sprout and grow to grab onto the enemies and attack them, which I really love plant magic, so that was fun. There are multimedia stuff in the middle, so pictures and reports and news article clippings, things like that. It's a lot about needing to study the past and how people fought fascists, the white cis hetero patriarchy, to learn how we can do that now in the present, because they are using the same tactics over and over. We can also use some of the same tactics of resistance that have worked in the past. Just the atmosphere of it, I really enjoyed. Okay, contemporary. The Stars and the Blackness Between Them actually has a tiny bit of magic, but I put it in this category because you will be more likely to enjoy it if you enjoy contemporary than if you enjoy fantasy, because the magic is so small. This one is about 2 girls who are falling in love, one of whom has a terminal illness. They also have to overcome the homophobia that they have been raised with. I think one of them much more so than the other, and reconcile that with the fact that they're falling in love. Anger is a Gift by Mark Oshiro. This is the one that I gave 3 stars just because it's so dark. This is about resisting the policing of children in schools. The school that our main character goes to is being policified. They're putting up metal detectors and giving police free rein in the school. And when the police assault one of his friends And then another of his friends gets injured by the metal detectors. Our main character and his friends start to campaign to get rid of the metal detectors and get the police out of the school. And our main character's mom was an organizer, and so she helps with that. Our main character also lost his dad to police violence, and the police kill someone on page during the book, which was one of the most horrifying parts, of course. And our main character is falling in love with a boy while all of this is going on. Then Black Flamingo by Dean Atta. I really enjoyed this one. This is about a boy exploring who he is through drag, and the author also kind of has talked about how he kind of figured out how he processed things such as his gayness through drag. It's really sweet, and it's a lot about queer community. I pretty much love stories that center around drag, maybe because the ones I've read so far have been very much focusing on the queer community that is fostered within drag communities. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. That one's written in verse as well. Nonfiction, we have All Boys Aren't Blue. Author of this book is non-binary, and it's a memoir. I don't believe that they had realized that they were non-binary at the point of writing the book. So it's more about their experiences being gay, but also just lots of experiences. They also had experiences with racism and child abuse when they were a kid. And I believe it does somewhat address gender expression as well. So many good books. If you have recommendations of books that I haven't listed, feel free to give them in the comments. If you've read one of these books and want to talk to me about it, you can comment that. You can comment if I've put some of these books on your TBR. Also, obviously, there are queer Black people who write horror and historical fiction and other genres, but these are my favorite genres that I read the most of, so that's what I have recommendations for. I'm going to go read now because I've gotten so excited about talking about some of my favorite books. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to leave an emoji, how about a calendar? There's calendars, right? For it being Juneteenth. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!